from a galaxy far, far away.
And a bookshelf straight out of the 90s.
From Thrawn to Dantooine.
And everything in between. This is Legends Look Back.
Y'all remember way back when, way back when I was talking about raiding my family's storage unit back in my hometown, looking for my childhood Darth Vader helmet. It had this hang-down dilly whapper that would, you press the buttons, and it would do a voice changer thing. It was a Darth Vader helmet that, it was my brother's when he was like 4, which was especially funny because he's still a small, skinny guy. No offense, Justin. So having this big old freaking Darth Vader helmet, I'll find a picture. I'll throw it in the Discord, or I won't, but I might. And it was always funny to see him wear this thing, and he'd be like wearing one of those Hulk hands from 2003. Anyway, I was looking for that. I want it in my Star Wars collection. It's one of the last things from my childhood that I've not been able to find. So I went the other day. I was back home. My dad and I, pretty late at night, raided the storage unit. I was so excited. I was looking for a handful of things. The Darth Vader helmet, my Power Rangers toys, which I did not find. I found one Megazord, but not all the figures, which was sad. I did not find the full Darth Vader helmet. I found the back half of the helmet. You know how at the end of Return of the Jedi, it's got the 2 pieces, and so it takes off the back, and then the rest. This helmet had exactly that. I found the back of it. I did not take it, because if I did, then I would wear it like Rick Moranis in, what's the parody?
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I would look like Rick Moranis and Darth Helmet. So, anyway, I found the back half of the helmet, the mullet. Did you call it the mullet side, Freddie?
Yeah, the mullet side Vader.
I did not take it. So, it's still in the storage unit. You know what I did find, though?
Uh-oh.
Y'all ready for this?
That look says it
He's
all.
got the glasses off.
Oh, he took the glasses off.
I am dying to know if y'all have ever heard of this, because it is legitimately one of the weirdest things in my entire life, and it has been a part of my life since the mid to late 90s. Y'all ready for this? This is a game
Uh-oh.
that I got for Christmas, and I'm going to guess 96. I don't know for sure. The game is Gooey Louie.
Oh, yes, I know
Gooey
exactly what this is.
Louie?
You would. Should I tell everybody what you do?
Yeah, talk about
Wait
it
a
while
minute.
I'm going to do a live Gooey Louie unboxing. We're going to do a playthrough right here on
We're
the show.
all gonna do. So Gooey Louie, if I'm not mistaken, was one of those '90s games, like they had the Mad. Yeah. This is
It's got
Gooey
that
Louie
90s
here.
animation. It looks like Doug meets like Phineas and Ferb.
Yeah.
Oh, the last time we talked about Doug, I stayed up till 2 in the morning doing Doug research.
Doug research.
Yeah, now it looks
So
like
that
he's
Gooey
might
about,
be the most
now it
Jared
looks like
thing I've ever heard.
he's about to kiss
All right, what
me.
do you do?
But
There's a
he's
couple.
not.
There's a couple weird games around this time, and this is one of them. And you would literally pull snot out of his nose.
Yeah, so he has these
Oh my
boogers.
gosh, I remember
And
this.
the boogers, let me say this much. A little worse for wear 20 years later. All right, so you
Ew.
pull the boogers
Whoa.
out the nose.
Gummy worms.
Oh, disgusting.
This one's jammed. All right,
Oh.
all right. So you get one, and at the end, what happens, Freddie?
I don't remember.
My
I'm going to
nose
keep going
hurts.
while you describe. This one's a little shorter.
Oh.
I don't recall what happens at the end of this.
My
Is
kids
it?
are very entertained by
How
this.
is this a game?
I haven't played this game.
You're about to
and,
find out.
You know that with the ice blocks. Do you guys remember the one with the ice blocks?
Yeah.
That
Don't
was
break the
also-
ice.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
We
that
also
one's
fun.
got,
That's a good one.
out of the storage unit, Don't Spill the Beans.
Yep.
Ooh, I remember
They
that.
reprinted that one
I got-
recently.
Okay, yeah. Some of them you really got to dig around for, and you got to kind of maneuver like front to back, back to front, that sort of thing.
Jared, there's
Uh-huh.
a lot of things I like to do with my time except for watch you pick
Play
this
Gooey.
No.
game's
So you keep
nose.
going until sooner or later.
Something comes out.
Yeah, there's
Uh-oh.
still one in there. Okay, this is going to be the one. This is. There's still a couple. Okay, so somebody loses the game,
What
and you
could
never know.
Possibly come out of
You
the
never
nose?
know.
Oh my gosh! Oh,
It
My.
freaks me out so hard every
What?
single time.
just happened.
There's a Jack in
Gooey.
the Box booger picking game.
You've been gooey Louie. That's right. So
Oh.
this.
Gooey.
I remember as a kid seeing a commercial for this, and I was like, very. And then you just reload the boogers when you're done.
Take Ferric,
And,
Jared, man, that one.
Play again. I've been playing this game
my
since I was a
gosh.
kid, and every single freaking time that brain pops out,
Oh.
I have had that exact same reaction my entire life.
Wow.
Yep. I remember. the
Seriously,
Gooey
I
Louie.
was not
It's
expecting
been a long
that
time.
at all.
No, I thought you were about to pull something weird out his nose.
Yeah. And like,
Yeah.
Can
so
you imagine
pulled-
being like the generation where Operation was invented,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then this guy comes out, and you're like, "Where's the
You want
world? Like,
Operation?
how is the world changing?"
this is
to
the
this?
future of the medical profession.
I remember when I saw commercials for that and I wanted it, and like having to give a serious pitch to my parents on why it was not too inappropriate for me to own. And they caved, and it was a whole thing. We'd play it. Anyway, so I finally got it out. I was describing it to my kids, and I was like, I've got this. I'm going to get it. I'm going to bring it home. We brought it out. My 4-year-old, very excited, enjoying it. My 7-year-old, I was like, Ava, you want to play? And she said, no. It kind of freaks me out. And I was like, you're not wrong for that. So, yeah. Did you have a favorite 90s game? Like, that to me is so iconically 90s, right?
That's awesome.
It's just absurd. You got the green and the purple. Nothing says 90s like purple, right?
Oh, totally. Purple and
colors are
neon
definitely-
green.
You got a favorite 90s game?
There was one. There was one where I can't remember exactly what it was. It was like a bird. It wasn't an elephant, like the one that most people think of. And it would shoot things out of its mouth as it was standing and going around in circles, and you'd catch them with like these things. Basically like that elephant game where it comes out of its nose and you catch all the butterflies with the net. It was like something similar to that.
So it's like an outside
weird.
game kind of thing.
Huh.
You could
Oh.
definitely
Yeah.
play in a room.
Okay, it's ringing a bell.
Or like,
Yeah.
Give me a second.
Uh,
Well,
so-
Or that marble game was fun. That one's fun.
my
Mancala, that was a good one. Go ahead.
I don't have a favorite board game, I don't think, but I do have a favorite game from the 90s. I'll give you a hint. Do 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 do.
Yeah, crickets. Rich. Oh, it's
Do do
Bop
do
It.
do do do. Bop it. Twist it.
that was a critical
Pull
fail.
it.
I see.
Please
Yeah.
re-roll. Oh.
Do 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 do
Nice.
do do. Thank you. And it
I don't remember the
Then it
song.
starts going faster. Like I have nightmares of the song still. Okay, like the pressure is it's still there. So
Gooey Louie is basically a Bop It, except for you only have pull it, and then eventually the brain pops out.
does it make the
Well-
sound? Do 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 do.
I mean,
You
I can just
can.
put on the track of you doing that over and over. Well, I don't know about y'all,
That was a good one. That got me.
Yeah.
but I'm hoping that even more brains pop out after this awesome episode of Legends Look Back that we are about to have. We got the folks here in the chat. Gooey's on the floor. Or Louie. I don't know
Louie's
if we're on a
Gooey.
first name basis like that yet or not.
don't
There's
lose
gooeyes all
those.
over the floor.
Mr.
Picked his-
Louis.
Mr. Louie is safely over there in his place. The brain has been reinserted
Oh.
into his cranium,
Cranium.
and we are ready for the show. So, Rick, without further ado,
All right.
hello, everybody, and welcome to Legends Look Back, proudly part of the YOUTINI podcast network. This is a Star Wars books podcast for people whose roofs of their mouths are still burned horrifically from the time they got overzealous with the bagel bites. Where we celebrate our rich EU history as well as dive into lesser-known Star Wars classics. I'm your host, Jared Mays, and I'm joined tonight by my legendary co-hosts with their brains still in their head, such as Freddie C. How are you, Freddie?
You know, that vision of the hot lava pizza sauce running down your throat as you swallow that hot bagel. Felt it. I know it.
Yeah, some of the cheese is still frozen, but yet somehow the sauce is so hot that you're going to be burned for the rest of your life.
It's like lava,
Yeah.
man. Just feel like Anakin when you eat it.
Oh.
You know who feels like Anakin all the time?
No, I don't.
I don't know where I'm going with this. Emily Daybeck. How are you, Emily?
Y'all are killing me tonight. Oh my gosh. How many different ways did the 90s do pizza? Do you remember? Did they have like a multicolored pizza sauce at some point? Was there like a Lunchable with like purple pizza sauce? Or was that just
Yeah.
ketchup?
Oh, this is vaguely
That was
ringing
definitely
a
there was a
bell.
ketchup thing. There was a purple ketchup.
I remember
thing
there
for
was
sure.
Purple
a
ketchup
lot of
was
different
definitely a
colors of
thing.
ketchup.
Yeah.
We did colorful ketchup on the show already. That's old hat.
Yes.
did.
But-
I remember this.
Oh,
Colorful,
Oh.
colorful pizza Lunchables. That is a tree we're gonna have to bark up.
I'm gonna have to look it up. Anyway, yeah, there were a lot of different ways the 90s did pizza. I remember Anthony's Pizza. Did anybody eat it at Anthony's?
Oh yeah, for sure.
that a thing?
There's also pizza flavored everything.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
Mhm.
pizza Pringles.
Combos.
Pizza Pringles.
Pizza
I liked
Pringles.
those.
Pizza
Those are so
combos.
good.
We would go to CC's
Those were-
Pizza in my hometown.
Hey,
and
welcome to CC's.
They had
I still go to CC's.
they had dessert
It's like
pizza.
my favorite place.
And you'd
Yes.
eat
Oh,
a
yeah.
slice or two of pepperoni, and then like a pizza and a half of chocolate pizza.
Yep. Yep.
Or the apple pizza.
I tried telling
Tis the
the
season.
kids these days that they used to walk in and they used to greet you and say, "Hey, welcome to CC's."
Welcome to CC's.
And-
That's right. And then you'd go rush to the arcade.
Yeah, yeah. And they don't do that anymore. And it's like, do they even care? Do they even care? You know? But it's fine. It's cool.
I
Go
feel
into Moe's.
yeah.
They talk to me there.
Yeah.
maybe that's what will air next week. 'Cause we probably can't do a live show. I'll find the home video of my 6th birthday party, 7th birthday party, right around there from CC's, and we'll just look at all my Star Wars toys I got back in '98 or
Oh
whatever.
my gosh,
whenever.
you have that?
Yeah, it's out there somewhere. It's on a hard drive.
I
Or
would love to
A
see
VHS.
that.
It's got my
That'd be
mom on
awesome.
it, and she's deceased, and so I cried too hard, so I had to store the entire thing away on a hard drive and bury it somewhere. So, but it's around here somewhere. Yeah, it's great.
what better way to celebrate than throwing it on the internet? But yeah, that would be really special.
yeah,
I
yeah,
would like to
exactly.
see that. That'd be cool.
Well, I'll see what we can dig up. We'll see. Anyway, you know who else loves to throw things on the internet? Our producer, Rick Race.
Hey, I remember the first time in the 90s that I had milk come through my nose. That was fun. So, also something that happened in the 90s. And
And noses. We talked about Gooey Lou.
What
Yeah.
yes, Wet Willies. Ooh, I hate Wet Willies, dude. Why'd you go there?
Our water park here is called Wet Willies, which
That's
is
hilarious.
I
Somebody
think
did
we
that
can
on
all
purpose.
agree. Obscene and disturbing,
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, man.
but a wild fun time.
So
that's for
I have
sure.
to harp on the pizza bites thing. Pizza bites, right? That's what they're called. The bagels.
Pizza bagels.
Bagel bites. Thank you.
Bagel
Bites,
bites.
bagel
yeah,
bites.
I don't
for
think I can
pizza
sing the
rolls.
song. Right? I think
So-
I should
The song is iconic.
down.
I can't remember it,
Demonetized.
but I know it
Something-
was iconic back in the day.
Same. Something we did not have in the 90s, but we have now, is air fryers. And let me just say, bagel bites in the air fryers.
I'm going.
Perfect.
I gotta get one. Right
It's I.
Oh my
This has been my lunch for the past
gosh.
week. It cooks all the cheese. It's a little crispy on top. It's perfect. So 6 minutes on the air fryer, 400. Mwah.
Okay, I'm gonna add that to my list.
I want to say
We will be picking those
back
up.
as Jared is going to go get some more pizza here.
That's
There
gonna
was a
take
pe-
too long. I had to go to Walmart for the air fryer, and that's farther down than another day.
There was a pizza at Pizza Hut it was called the Bigfoot Pizza. Not sure if anybody remembers that. It was called the Bigfoot Pizza. It was definitely, I believe it was a 90s thing. And I want to say that it even came with, like, if you asked back when everybody sold toys or had toys at restaurants, even Little Caesars had toys. It was crazy. It would come with, like, a Casper the Friendly Ghost puppet.
Oh.
Now we're talking.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I had all those puppets.
Who knew that we could get 5 minutes in, or 20, however long it's been, and get to this many 90s references? It has been a blast.
Yeah.
Pizza.
Wow. Now I'm kind of like, I might have to do that air fryer thing. I don't have an air fryer, but I do have a birthday coming up.
Hey.
So,
It's a very good choice, I think. My husband makes lots of different types of sandwiches in the air fryer. It's great for pizza and reheating leftovers.
this for me feels like I'm a grandpa, but what even is it? How does it work? And is it dark magic?
It is.
Like black magic.
It's pretty much dark magic. It's nice.
Yeah, it's dark magic. You're gonna have to
Just
look that
like the book we're about to read.
up. Ooh, Darth magic.
Oh.
Did you see the way we just tossed that softball to Freddie and he nailed it out of the park? That is right. You know who would not be entertained by all of our silly 90s references? This guy. Tonight we are talking about Darth Maul, Shadow Hunter. And I'm going to go ahead and say it, sweeping declaration right here. I have decided, I've been wondering about this for a while, at least at the moment, for today. Mic drop, my favorite Star Wars book of all time. There it is. It's the best. Indisputable. That's all you need. So thanks for joining us for Legends Look Back. You can follow along with all of our goings-on on Discord. There we go. Yeah, that's right. Join the Legends Look Back Discord if you want to buy the book, support the show. No, we'll do the show. We'll do the show. We got a lot to talk about here, and that is the book that is almost out of the 90s, but not quite. This book was published in 2001. It is by Michael Reaves. Michael Reaves has his own little universe of Star Wars books that he penned. Some of them with co-writers. I don't know if there's ever been a Star Wars author who wrote with more co-writers than Michael Reaves.
I would say what is it? There's like 2 books written by him, and then maybe 4 or 5 co-written.
Yeah, he's like got 3 independently, and obviously there's a lot of Star Wars writers who are collaborative. I mean, even today with the High Republic, it's very collaborative. I can think Kevin J. Anderson did a ton of collaborating as well. Had a lot of books that he co-wrote or edited alongside others. This is, I think, out of all of his books, my very favorite. He also wrote the MedStar duology. He wrote Death Star, which I read this year and really, really enjoyed quite a bit, with Steve Perry. The Coruscant Nights trilogy, the third of which is co-written with Maya Catherine Bonhoff. Shadow Games, which I also quite enjoyed. That's the Dash Rendar book, right?
Dash Rendar.
With Maya Catherine Bonhoff and The Last Jedi, not to be confused with the one where Luke drinks the milk. This is The Legends Last Jedi, which is co-written by Maya Catherine Bonhoff. It kind of creates its own little universe, so we are going to talk about the first of his books, his contributions to the Star Wars universe tonight with Darth Maul, Shadow Hunter. Emily, can you tell us a little bit about some of the nonsense craziness involving the republication, reprinting of Darth Maul, Shadow Hunter over the years?
You're going to have to decode some of these show notes for me because there's a lot of abbreviations that I don't understand.
PPB is paperback.
So the paperback edition in 2001 had Saboteur novella by James Luceno included, which I have actually read. And it doesn't make a lot of sense on its own, but attached to this book, it would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, so we had the hardback, followed by the paperback in 01. So that's the standard cycle most Star Wars books go through. This one didn't stop there. It did not stop there. Not by a long shot.
So 10 years later, in 2011, had both Saboteur and Restraint, which was another exclusive short story by Luceno, and a tie-in to the 3D release of The Phantom Menace.
Very good. Yep, another abbreviation. Like I said, I wrote these show notes in an hour, so there's a lot of abbreves tonight. You got this.
See, I would have gone for the phonetic pronunciation. So it's good. It's good.
I wrote
The Phantom Menace. Yeah, there's a lot of abbreviations. And it didn't stop there. So this is our third release of the 2022 ELC edition, Essential Legends Collection edition, and the audiobook read by Sam Witwer himself.
That's right.
He's the voice of Maul in the Clone Wars, right?
Yeah. And Rebels. And Solo.
Yeah.
And probably other things.
He's in Solo? I forgot that.
Spoiler alert. It's the big
That's amazing.
reveal at the end. Yeah.
I totally forgot that. And if that wasn't enough, so now we're at the 4th edition. There is an additional UK cover, in case you didn't.
Yeah.
have
So,
that.
Rick, can you show the good folks these covers? I've got a handful here. Got the original cover with the floating heads. I call this one the floating heads cover. You got Maul's floating head. You got Sidious's floating head making this face.
During this era, there was a lot of weird books. I mean, we've got the Depa Billaba stare, and it seems like if you look at even what Cloak of Deception, they all have like the same 1,000-yard PT. Not to make fun of it, but when you look at pictures of like World War II, you see a lot of what I feel like is PTSD in the soldiers, and I feel like that stare off into the distance. You get that a lot in these books, and they're almost like copy and pastes of probably just promos of photos they took.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's definitely how it looks. So we do have a great history of covers with these.
Sam Witwer.
The first one is that floating head. Let's come back to Sam Witwer with that abbreviation. Let's look at these covers real quick. So we've got the floating head cover. We got this one, Rick. Yep, there it is. This is the original. For some reason, I queued up the audiobook, but there it is. That's what you're looking at. Okay, followed by what, Rick?
Let's go with this one.
That's the UK edition. I don't own this one.
Oh.
Didn't know it existed until today. In case you didn't know, this book was about Darth Maul.
Yeah.
That's what I like to call
Yeah,
this cover.
Yeah.
Different pictures of Maul all stitched
The
together.
trifecta. Then
Yeah.
this, I think, the paperback version.
This is the 2011
Ooh.
paperback.
Okay, 11 paperback.
Featuring a short story and a novella.
Yeah. Yes.
including one of those was original. It was unique to this book. What do you think is like the ethics of that? Reprinting a paperback with a short story that you can only get if you buy the paperback. It's been very controversial over the years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can.
Less
Like,
of
it's
it
the same as
recently.
like a Target edition of a Taylor Swift album.
Ooh, that's oddly specific.
I mean,
Which I threw a huge fit about last week, if you're paying any
See
attention.
that?
Yeah, floating
Stare
head
off in the
cover.
distance.
There we
Yeah.
go.
ooh.
And the stare. Very good. Fred.
Another
Beautiful.
stare off into the distance.
Yep, there's a lot.
Hey, that one's coming up soon. We're doing that one soon.
Nice.
Yoda Dark Rendezvous. Flexing that hardcover, Freddie. I know where you got that one. Okay. And what else, Rick?
Let me find my
Should be one more cover.
buttons. Yep, here we go.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
This is the
10 out of
ELC
10.
cover.
Love that.
Now, what do these four
Favorite.
covers have in common? Let's talk about this for 1 minute here.
They all have Darth Maul on
Star
it.
Wars.
They all have Darth Maul and almost nothing else, okay? Why in the freaking world do we need 4 different covers that all are just Maul? It's just a different variation on
That's a
Maul.
good point.
Do you want
It's
a
like,
head of
he
Lorne
was
in the
a
corner,
fourth of the book, I felt.
Yeah.
looking off in the distance?
Yeah.
Does one of these do the story more justice than the others? Not
I
really.
feel like this one, the ELC version, I think does a better depiction of like his surroundings. I don't like the one where it's
Totally.
just 3 shots of him. I don't like the one where it's just a picture of him.
That's right. We're going to throw that one into the hopper, just like we did the T.
Look at this.
All right, yeah, it's the UK edition.
Man,
I like this one. The which edition is
this
this?
is
The
the
original.
OG, yeah.
The original. Yeah.
The
The
floating
original
heads.
is pretty good.
I mean, it
Because
has
got-
a Neomoidian,
Alright.
right? And
Yeah.
It's the story.
Yeah.
and Coruscant.
Right? This is more of
but
the
it doesn't
story.
have any Jedi at all. And there's a lot of Jedi in the book.
No.
That's true.
That's
true.
that's right. Now there is an image
Yeah.
that was created specifically for the Essential Reader's Companion. Freddie, you remember the name of the artist? I met him. I freaked him out. I came on way too strong. You remember who I'm talking about? At Celebration. Signed your postcard. The book.
Yeah.
He did all the
Man.
illustrations for this book. We'll find it.
I'm
We'll
having a
find
hard
it.
time thinking about it.
Yeah, all right. Rick's going to find it. Anyway, he did an original full-page spread for this book
Yeah.
that's in that.
Joe
It is
Caroni?
Maul. Say it again?
Joe Crony? Jeff Carlisle,
Uh,
Joe Crony, Brian Rude, Chris Scalf, Darren Tan, and Chris Trevis.
Ooh, Chris Scalf.
Chris
Scalf,
Trevis. It was Chris
Yeah,
Trevis.
Chris Travis.
So he did an image that is, we've got it ready for tonight, in fact.
Oh.
Rick, this one is, yeah, you don't have to look in the book. It's in the computer. Click the glowing rocks, but not the red button. Don't click that one. Anyway, this, I think, is my
Not again.
favorite piece of art that was ever made about or for this book.
Does it have Nemoidians? No, it
There
doesn't.
we go. Look at that.
Ooh, love
That's a
that.
beautiful. Yeah, that's a. You know what I can
Love
just
that.
feel from this image here.
It's Maul fighting Darsha Asant, in case anybody's listening on audio.
Just the absolute fury off of Maul. Like he is absolutely determined to win this fight, hands down.
And yet, she's holding her own, and so you got
She
the
does.
clash of blades. And anyway, it's a great image. Wanted to give a shout out to him for this. And also poke fun at the fact that we've got 4 different covers that are all basically just Maul looking ambitious. That's it. It's like,
A
oh,
hubris.
I don't know if that last cover really cut it.
It's-
Let's go back to the drawing board. Boom. Sir, I'd like to present to you the cover. It's Maul. Nailed it. Love it.
This is an out of print cover edition. I would say.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. So, anyway, very excited to talk about this. Who added the rest of the trivia notes in here and wants to talk about this?
Yeah. Let's see. Do we have? So this is kind of some background on. It was in the Reader's Companion, just to give some idea of where it's at. Darth Maul, Shadowhunter, is in about 32 BBY, so that's before the Battle of Yavin. And in terms of Legends chronology, I guess, in terms of what are we calling that? Just the. If you were to see this
Yeah,
on the YOUTINI
the timeline.
Cloak of Deception happens just before Shadowhunter, and all of this is happening before the Phantom Menace. So this is all leading up to the Phantom Menace and the events that we see in that movie. Pretty
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah,
Especially
I
insight
don't
there.
try to keep all that straight so much. Because the timeline gets really messy right before and around the Phantom Menace.
It sure
Man,
does.
We tried
Yeah.
to do Plagueis with Trevor, and oh man, all the legend stories right leading up to the Phantom Menace, it gets very, very wonky. There is a lot. Okay, what else? One more thing you got here, Freddie?
Let's save this one.
Okay.
When we get into the characters, I might be able to just bounce
Perfect.
it off.
Perfect. So let's get into the summary. I'm going to go ahead and give a fair warning. 100 episodes of Legends Look Back. I've written original summaries for all of the roundtables.
Oh,
This
dear.
time around, I did not. These are not my words. This is a huge shout out to the Wook for the help this time around with the summary. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But hey, I did edit some things for brevity, and so you're welcome. Ready for this?
Let the Wookiee win.
The Wookiee won. The Wook won this one for sure. Is a huge win for the Wook, and we win.
Yeah, everybody
We all win.
wins.
That's right. So here's the
We all
deal.
win.
This is your spoiler warning. If you have not yet read Darth Maul Shadowhunter, there's no shortage of ways to find it. I'll say that much. You've got somehow for a book with so many reprints. It is like one of the most underrated Legends books of all time. So many folks have never read it, never given it a chance. Maybe because all the covers is just Maul on the cover. You got nothing else to go off.
So much angst.
That's right. Okay, so here we go. Newt Gunray finds that his second-in-command, Hath Monchar, has gone missing. Ba-ba-ba. Darth Sidious contacts Gunray, sniffs out the truth, sends his apprentice Darth Maul. Ever heard of him? After the missing Nemoidian, the book basically becomes one long out-of-the-frying-pan, into-the-fire chase sequence through Coruscant at this point. Does it not? Mm-hmm. Am I wrong?
Yep. Nope.
Sure
You're
does.
right.
Meanwhile, Darsha Asant, a Jedi Padawan, prepares for her final mission before throwing her hat in the air, or her Padawan braid, and finally becoming a Jedi Knight. She is sent to the Crimson Corridor in the underlevels of Coruscant. There, she must pick up a former Black Sun employee named Ulf, the Fondorian, who is willing to trade information about the recent reorganization of the upper ranks, the criminal syndicate, in his exchange for protection from the Jedi Order. Blah, blah, blah. Long story short, she finds Ulf. Wow, this name is so freaking difficult. Shout out to Sam Witwer for pronouncing this. Ulf.
Ulf.
His name is Ulf. Yeah, everybody say that 5 times fast at home, or if you're out walking your dog.
That's OOLTH.
Yeah,
Ulf.
Ulf. Yeah. So the ship they were supposed to travel on is damaged by raiding thugs. Who are they, Freddie?
Not hawk bats.
Is this not the Hawkbats? Was this a different
It's
group?
the
It's the-
Raptors. The Raptor.
The Raptors.
The
Yeah.
Raptor gang.
Yeah.
Classic
Was it
Star
a Raptor
Wars name.
gang?
Raptors. That's right.
Not to be confused with the Reptars.
Yeah.
Hey.
Not the Reptar gang.
Hold on. Reptar like
That'd be an
Rugrats.
awesome gang.
Yeah, here we go. Rating it back in.
Sorry, moving it back in.
Here we go. Their speeder, their ship is damaged. Therefore, she cannot return him where he's supposed to go. Uh-oh. Though the Padawan is able to fend them off, the two of them have no choice but to zipline up to the top of a building to get to the Jedi Temple. Bad luck strikes again when the Hawkbats, here they are, attack the two of them, resulting in Ulf, F's in the chat for Ulf, falling off just as Darsha arrives to the top of the building. Knowing that she has failed since Ulf died, she neglects to mention this to the Jedi Council and instead only informs her master, Anun Bandara, of her failure. Bandara agrees to keep Ulf's death a secret from the Jedi Order until they find his body, confirming his death. They travel back to the Crimson Corridor. His body's nowhere to be found. Bandara and Darsha conclude he's probably still dead. And it's at this point that Darth Maul finds Hath Monchar, the Nemoidian. Did you forget about him? Probably, because this is a long summary. Thank you to the Wook for that. They interrogate the helpless Nemoidian who had sold a Sith holocron to a man named Lorne Pavan and his protocol droid partner, I-5YQ. Maul is aware this holocron happens to contain all of the information regarding Darth Sidious's big secret freaking plans in bringing down the Jedi Order and taking over the Republic. should not put all that information in one place. But they did, and they got to find it. It's on the holocron. Maul executes Monchar for his treachery against Sidious by decapitating him with his lightsaber, sets off to find Pavan and I-5. When he does, he ends up chasing them so that he can kill the two of them before they can reveal the information in the holocron to the Jedi Order. Somebody please bail me out and help me out with this summary.
I gotcha. As they travel back to the Jedi Temple to report to the Council regarding Ulth and the Fondorian's death, Darsha and Bandara run into Pavan and I-5 just as they are being chased by Darth Maul. Bandara confronts Maul alone while Darsha leads the others to safety. During the battle, Master Bandara sacrifices himself by exploding Maul's speeder with his own lightsaber, giving Darsha, Lorne, and I-5 time to escape. After a long chase through the bowels of Coruscant, battling, Scythons?
The Cathons.
Cathons and a Towson, and all kinds of other whoopsies and death traps. Yep.
That was my addition.
There
You're
you
welcome.
go. Yep. Whoopsies! After all kinds of other whoopsies and death traps, the group is once again tracked down by Darth Maul. Asant does battle with Maul, while I-5 carbon freezes Pavan in an attempt to hide and protect him. After a large explosion, which Darsha enacted, thus sacrificing herself, Darth Maul can sense no life in the warehouse and believes all of his targets are dead. He heads back to his master with news of success. Pavan is thawed out, and this time he starts hunting Maul. Although he was able to get the drop on Maul using a Towson nodule, he is duped into giving the Sith holocron to Senator Palpatine. Who is secretly Darth Sidious. There's a big spoiler. Palpatine lies that he will give the holocron to the Council and sends Pavan to a hospital, since just as he is taking the holocron from Maul, Pavan has his arm cut off by the Sith Lord. In the end, Maul confronts Pavan in the hospital privately, and the Sith Lord decides to give the man a quick death for managing to present a worthy challenge. Pavan's last thoughts are of his son, Jax. With that, Maul leaves, his mission accomplished.
That's not what I wrote.
Uh-oh.
Mission what?
Mission accomplished-ish.
Ish. That's right. Mission accomplished-ish. Because it was a lot of whoopsies.
It was
Did you
a
forget
lot.
the whoopsies?
There were
Okay.
so many whoopsies. Accomplished-ish. He felt good about it.
So let's go around the horn and rate it. I already spoiled it by saying masterpiece. I think it's my favorite Star Wars book of all time. I'm not going to say that it is the best Star Wars book ever written. It's my favorite, so there's a difference there. It's my favorite. There's something about it that is like a warm blanket to me. It's one of my go-to books. It is just there's some real. Okay, the first time I read it, I expected nothing of it. I'd never heard a single person say a single word about this. And I checked it out, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's some great stuff here, and it's got some compelling twists and turns, and I loved the original characters, loved them. And I love the parallel journeys. We're going to talk about this of Maul and Darsha as they're two, like a Padawan and a Sith, both trying to rise up the ranks, and yet there's different. And you've got Lorne Pavan hates the Jedi, and Darsha kind of wins him over. And then you've got I-5 doing cool stuff like shooting people with his finger guns. And anyway, great twist ending, spectacular twist ending, gut-wrenching to give the holocron to Palpatine. Anyway,
that got me so. Yeah.
So for what the book sets out to do, for it accomplishing its goals and giving you a really fun Maul book, it's a masterpiece for me. But you're welcome to disagree. You don't have to see it the same way.
I'm curious to see what Emily says here.
Yeah, I guess I could have gone last, but I already said it was my favorite. What am I supposed to do?
You did. You've said this is your favorite for a while, and I can see why.
All right, what's the scale again? I need our rubric.
Masterpiece, incredible, good, fair, mediocre.
Okay.
And we're not writing an official review, so you make it your own. You can blur the lines, blend them together. The 5 criteria we traditionally use on the site are plot, Plot, characters, originality, writing style, and entertainment.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Rick, are you gonna?
Rick just saw it in the show notes, everybody. That was the sound of Rick's light bulb lighting up.
Gosh.
Man.
Well, I'll go next. I thought it was incredible. I wouldn't go so far to say it was a masterpiece for me. I thought it was a highly entertaining book. There was a lot of variety in the plot and the characters. I thought the writing style was really good. It was very original. I loved the twist at the end, giving him to Palpatine. I mean, oh my gosh, that got me good. And I don't know, you root for all the characters, and very few survive. So it's good. I liked it a lot. I don't think it's necessarily on the level of masterpiece, like compared to the other books that we've read, or the other ones that I've rated as masterpiece, which I've only think I've done that to Kenobi.
No, you're definitely right. It's definitely it's
not
more
quite the
deserving
same
of
tier
incredible
for
for
me,
sure. Yeah, you're
but
right.
it's definitely incredible. Very engaging, very entertaining.
Y'all know that moment when I just thought about this when you mentioned the plot twist. The moment when he discovers they're not on a bridge, they're on a Towson. On that exact moment, I got in a bike wreck.
Oh.
It felt
Wait,
like
really?
yeah. I was
What?
I was out on a mountain bike and I got big twig like a vine just wrapped up into my chain, into my and I just fell off the bike and into the rocks and started sliding down the cliff. And it really, for me, kind of felt like I was down in the underlevels of Coruscant, except for.
Did you check for thousands after that?
Wow, that's very.
But it was awesome. I was like, all right,
nodules.
it knocked the earbuds out my ears.
Oh, man.
I mean, yeah, for real. All right, there you go. There's my personal story. While you think of your ratings, I'll accept that as an acceptable rating, Emily. You can stay on the
Yeah,
show.
that's a good rating. Rick, are you ready? Do you need some time?
I got some things to say, but it doesn't matter to me either way.
Okay. Well, let's see. I just finished reading Maul Lockdown not too long ago, so I have another Maul book to relate to it. It is the descriptions that happen in this book are very similar to who wrote the Maul Lockdown. I think it was Joe Schreiber.
Yeah.
Joe Schreiber has some very, how would you describe it? Very
Visceral.
visceral. Very visceral. It's very visceral. He's very descriptive with his words. He can make you see gory things.
Yeah.
Is the best way I can put it. And Lockdown has very much that feeling. I mean, imagine being locked in with a bunch of crazy prisoners and you just have to fight to the death to win.
We're gonna
That's
have to
how
start
crazy that
having
book
like
is.
a drinking game of all the times that Freddie
Yeah.
mentions lockdown.
Trust me, we're gonna bring
Right.
our pencil. Our 'cause it's it works with this book. I wanted to read them kind of one after the other to have a background of like, okay, how is Maul written in other books? And
I do that a lot
feel
too.
like I have
I'll often
that.
pair them together, like a
Yeah.
cheese and a grape.
I'm gonna have some Lockdown with some Saboteur.
You know,
That's right.
I think the internet, there should be a place that has a bunch of lists of books with the same characters in it. And you could go to this website and
Yeah.
get inspired. What's that? What would that be called?
You talking
There's
about
a timeline too.
the reading
What
guides
would
on
that be?
YOUTINI.com?
That's exactly it.
I wrote
yes.
the Maul reading guide a few years ago. In fact, I remember spending like 12 hours trying to edit the graphic because I don't know how to use Photoshop, and I was trying. So you better use it and appreciate it because I worked hard on it. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. Continue, Freddie. You're making a great point.
Sorry.
Great point.
So seeing what that feels like, right? I mean, if you guys haven't read Lockdown yet, prepare for just the most intense experience you're gonna have with Maul inside of a prison. Because I mean, there were times where I had to put everything down because my adrenaline started running. And this book gave me the same kind of feeling. I would say what made this book very special to me. I read. I want to say this is one book I read like 3/4 of and I never finished. Glad I did during this round because I listened to the audiobook, and the audiobook by the Black Bones of the Emperor, holy moly, it is a 10 out of 10. If you have not
Oh yeah.
if you have not listened to an audiobook, a Star Wars audiobook, you have to. I know I've said this on some before, but this one in particular, you need to listen to this one on audiobook. It is completely worth it. Sam Witwer is legendary, hands down legendary. The way he delivers each line is like being in that person's head, feeling that feeling that they're feeling. And I mean, I listened to this on 1 speed, and I had the full experience.
He's
The
a little
full
slow at
experience.
times. A little slow. I
is.
sped it up. I did.
Yeah, it's
I
definitely
was
something.
listening at times 2, so
Yeah,
there's a variety.
Yeah.
Pick your
There's two
choose your own
types.
adventure here.
This book here, see, we were trying to listen to it to get some fresh content, remember it for the podcast. But if you have time to enjoy an audiobook, because you should, because you pay money for it probably, this is one that you definitely need to listen at 1 speed and just listen to the words he delivers, how he delivers it. It's going to really get you involved. And I think that borderline hits into the I would say the audiobook's a masterpiece. Absolutely a masterpiece.
Yeah.
The book's incredible. Story is intense. The amount of times it talks about certain Terraskasi moves. I mean, I was writing notes down on the different types of, what is it, like whipping Wampa?
Oh yeah. All the alliterations, I loved it.
Yeah, and it really dives into this universe. And I'm into some of the, 1990 books right now. And then coming into this, where everything's kind of set up and very, very well fleshed out, it's fun. It's a really fun read.
It's
Very
very
fun Legends book.
straightforward. He commits
Yeah.
so hard to what he's trying to do. The writing is so sharp and to the point and precise and descriptive. Yeah, I love his writing. Oh, I just adore it. It's intense. You got to chew on it for sure. Yeah. Okay, so that's it. What was your rating then?
Incredible for the book, masterpiece for the audiobook.
I'll take it. Absolutely. Now, 2 things to say about the audiobook. 1, Freddie, today in doing research for this, I found a clip from like 8 years ago of Sam Witwer reading 5 minutes of Maul Lockdown, the audiobook. So he did like an audio excerpt. I'll have to send that to you. He didn't do the whole book. He read just an excerpt. So I had no idea that existed. 2, the original audiobook narrator for the abridged version, Anthony Held, I believe is his name, also does a spectacular job. I really love his narration. I think he's got like a New York accent. So he's like, Dasha Sant went through the underlevels of Coruscant. And anyway, it's kind of like a 1940s gangster thing. It's
Darth Maul comes out.
Hey, yo, what are you doing with my holocron?
it's great, so I like that one a lot too. I probably will alternate back and forth between the 2 over the years, moving on from here, because I really do love both. Are like, I almost said wet blankets. What's the expression? The one that's good? The right blanket? Warm. The warm blankets, not the wet ones.
Not the
warm
wet
ones.
ones.
Okay.
I don't know that I would ever classify this book as a warm blanket.
Maybe a moist
Nothing
blanket.
about this is
but-
reassuring. Nothing is homey.
This is a workout
I never feel
audiobook.
safe.
Okay. Counterpoint. Okay. Counterpoint.
Waiting.
I got it.
It's coming.
Lorne Pavan is disillusioned with the Jedi.
Yes.
Yes.
Darsha Asant restores his faith in not necessarily the Jedi Order, but in the fact that there is still a good Jedi out there. And that his son is also one of them. And so are you.
I don't know. I got some thoughts on that whole
Okay.
situation.
We'll come back to it. That's fine. That's fine.
My turn. My turn.
Okay.
Rick.
All right. I say what Freddie says, basically. I thought it was probably good to incredible as far as book. My critique would be the whole from the frying pan to the fire, that whole thing, that like the stakes kept on getting so much larger. I had a hard time like with the pacing. Like, oh, okay, this is it. This is the plot. These are the characters. And then like I-5 and what's his name? Pavant? Not Pavant.
Lorne.
Yeah, Pavan. Yes, Lorne Pavan. They didn't like come into the story like prominently until much later. Or at least all the characters weren't on the same, the same scene until pretty significantly into the book, if I recall. That
That's true.
the
It's like
pacing
halfway.
kind of threw me a little bit, and so
Yeah, in the first half it does.
yeah, but it was definitely a very, very enjoyable ride. Like I said earlier when we were discussing the cover art, I didn't even know that this book had Jedi in it, and so I love, similar to the Darth Bane trilogy, when you're reading a Sith story and you see Jedi in it, it's always fun, and so this was no exception. It was really enjoyable to see Jedi, and the whole apprentice or Padawan trial thing was cool. Apprentice trial, wow. Anyway, so but yeah, I would say good to incredible on the book, and I was going to say the same thing, that the audiobook is masterpiece level, definitely worth checking out. And yeah, very good, very good.
Yeah, shout out to Penguin Random House Audio for giving us a review copy of the audiobook, and I listened to it and immediately went and purchased it. Also, just to spend money on this, to have a clean copy in my Audible library, because I know this is one I'm going to come back to time after time after time. Let's talk about a couple characters before we wind it up tonight. Oh, man, I love this book. Okay, Darth Maul. How cool is he? Is he the coolest? Why is he so cool? What is so freaking compelling? There's nothing good about Maul in this book. Nothing, not one thing. Why is he so freaking cool? Why do we like him?
Because
He is
cocky.
intense. He's beyond cocky. He is so well experienced. I've seen these guys, like these kind of martial artists before, where they are so aware of how good they are. and of course, you know, he's a dark side practitioner. So at this point, whatever he's gone through, he's learned that you know, there is no mercy, you know, everything that he has to follow. So he is ruthless. Everything is meaningless to him unless it's for the goal, right? People, doesn't matter. Everything's meaningless. It just talks about how often he just looks over the amount of millions of people, and it just makes him feel so tiny and useless. Like, I'm not even trying to describe it. It's like almost like these useless, insignificant humans that are just not even humans, just anything, cluttering. You know, just breathing my air. What a waste! It's an interesting way of looking at it. He's absolutely ruthless, and he is intensely scary in terms of his brutality and his martial artistry, and I would almost say that he doesn't really truly get. I'm not sure how to say this. He doesn't get. Trying to think of PG-13 way of saying this. He doesn't like killing people to kill people, right? It's not like he gets joy out of it. He simply does it because he needs to, and he just does it. And when he defeats his foe, depending on what they are, and if it's like a hut, it's like, well, you just kind of like died like everything else, right? Just a sack of nothingness.
Yeah, like I think about it when I squish an ant in my house. I don't even think about it. I see the ant and I squish it,
and that's
and I move on with my life. Yeah, for sure.
And he's ruthless, absolutely ruthless, and incredibly talented in terms of his martial artistry. He is, if he was a black belt, I mean, if he was a judoka, if those who know judoka, there's a black belt. After black belt, like the absolute mastery of it, you get like this red and white belt. That would be Maul, in my opinion. He is that skilled.
Hot take.
Does the belt have
That's
horns?
very cool.
Because if it has horns, he would like
He's got
it.
horns too. Can we describe him? Dark figure, dark 2-meter long figure, menacing. It's insane.
Who just sneezed?
That's my husband.
Okay,
He's in the
I'm
other
like,
room.
wasn't none of us.
I'm sorry. I was like, that.
Bless you.
There's nothing I can do about sneezing.
I just saw Emily break, and I'm like, I thought
It's
it was.
the Towson over here in the corner. Nobody knows it's there.
I thought it was Rick's
She's gonna,
wife,
like,
Jessica, but Rick didn't. He didn't break. Emily broke, and so I thought we were both laughing at Rick, and then I was like, all right, we gotta find out. Here.
Or I'm actually.
Speaking of the Towson,
I'm actually.
canon character right there.
Oh yeah.
Is it
Really?
Yeah, the Towson is in canon.
Oh, Mother
I
Towson.
didn't know that. This is my first encounter with the Towson. But no, I think Maul is so cool because he's like the dark side incarnate, where he is just complete power. And there is almost no guile in him. Like he and Palpatine are just two complete different Sith Lords. Like Palpatine is the hide in plain sight. There's no way Maul could ever hide in plain sight. Like the dude is striking. It mentions his eyes constantly throughout the book. Michael Reaves just like hones in on his eyes. Woo! And he just looks
Look
sick.
at those eyes, the Funko Pop eyes.
They're, I mean,
Those are
Funko Pop eyes or something.
They're so intimidating.
coolest
I
Funko Pop
accidentally
eyes.
bought 2 of those.
Everybody's looking for one. Rick can pawn one off
I
for
think
you.
I sold it already, but yeah, okay. He's gonna.
But yeah, I mean, I think Maul was the first character I ever saw in Star Wars that I thought, who is that? Like, he was
Sure.
the first intriguing character I ever saw. He's a fantastic, fascinating,
not Dooku.
fascinating character.
I had a
It
friend
wasn't Dooku.
before Dooku. I had a friend who had Maul on a ball cap in like
Oh, yeah.
in the lead up to the Phantom Menace in like '98.
Wow.
Like before, it could have been early '99, before the movie had come out. That was my introduction to Maul. I was like, whoa, that is a scary hat.
Mm-hmm.
Why does it say Star Wars? You know, and so
Yep.
I would say Maul is so terrifying. He's so cool because the only Sith up to that point had been Vader, who stomps around and chokes people, and is like a hammer when he's lightsaber battling. It's just brute force. Boom, 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 wears you down. And then Palpatine, who sits in a chair and laughs, and then gets up and does sparkle fingers. Then the next Sith we get is jumping around, flipping his cape or his hood off his head and doing flips, and the double-bladed lightsaber. He doesn't have to say much, and in this book you get him as like the shadow assassin who lurks in the shadows, and they can't bring him down, and even after they blast him with the bazooka, he jumps right back up. And so you get to see a lot more of him being ruthless and ultra focused, and just, you didn't know the Sith Lord could do all this stuff. That to me is
That's true.
just such a huge counterpoint to the Sith who had come before.
All right, one more thing I'm going to say about Maul, Darth Maul. All right, this is a hot take. Y'all ready for this?
Uh-oh.
I think Maul is stupid. No,
Yeah,
no doubt.
He's overly ambitious.
Overly ambitious and naive, and he constantly underestimates his opponents. He's got all of this skill. He's all this brawn, but no brains. He just assumes he can get himself out of anything, that he doesn't. There's no tact. There's no forethought. It's just show up and beat my opponent down. And so
I said he was cool, not that he was smart.
I mean,
I don't know.
he's totally cool. I'm saying stupid, not in the sense that he's a bad character. He's an epic character. He's just like doesn't think, you know? And so like even like when he's in those like inner dialogue about I can't believe I have to go do this stupid assignment. Those parts in the book,
Yeah.
he's just immature and whiny, you know? Like it's like the opposite of Luke, you know, I was going to Tachi Station to pick up some power converters. That's what I hear in my mind is, you know, Maul complaining about, you know, what his papa told him to do, you know? Or his Uncle Owen, I guess, but yeah.
That's a great point. I don't think anyone will say Maul is a genius by any means. He's just a brute, right? He's an absolute brute. His name is Maul.
Yeah.
Right, Maul. Let's talk about that name, right? That in itself is pretty straightforward on what you can expect Darth Maul to do.
And he looks
he
like
is
a
the
literal
perfect-
devil.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is the perfect apprentice for this part of the Sith Rising, which is an absolute ninja assassin. And when you're ruling after that, you need someone who is complete brute strength, who can literally just tap a guy on the head with his fist and probably drill him into the ground. And that's Vader. That's the kind of guy you need to enforce. Maul is pretty scary. He could still enforce. There's no doubt about it. Just in a different way.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Yeah. So that's why I think, Rick, to your point, you know, hey, even his inner monologues are ridiculous. That's why it works for him to only take up like a quarter to a third of the page count in the book.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
fair.
most of the book is focused on these other characters, and Maul is this hound who is chasing them through the streets and is relentless. And so you care more about what's his relationship with Palpatine, and he's terrified of Palpatine, and yet also wants to rise in the ranks, and yet you spend more time getting attached to these other characters. And so it brings me to this question. He only takes up a small share of the book's, you know, page count. Do you find yourself, and I ask myself the same thing when I'm reading the Bane books, right? Do you find yourself rooting for or against Maul? He's the titular character in this book. He's on all 4 of the covers.
Yeah.
The others aren't. Do you root for him or do you root against him?
This is one of those stories where you just know where he ends up, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You know where he's
Or where we thought he ended up, down that
what
shaft, and then he
Yeah.
got the spider legs, and it's a whole
course.
thing.
Then you have to think like, okay, well, what's gonna happen here? Because I'd like some of these people to live, and I wouldn't mind if there was some kind of escape of some sort, but I think Lauren put it pretty straightforward. He said he had the attention of a Sith, and that is not a good thing at all. Period. End of sentence. Right? He's basically accepted his death at that point.
All right, so Emily says, Freddie, your answer is what? Do you find yourself rooting for the Jedi to make it?
It's really like let's just see where this thing goes. I mean, I love reading about Darth Maul, but I'm definitely not going to root for somebody I know that is probably history. So it's just like let me just sit along this ride and see where it goes kind of thing. So I guess I can't really root for
kind of neutral.
I root for his artistry in his what he does and how he practices, but that's about it.
You appreciate him, don't necessarily root for him. Emily's a hard no. She roots against Maul hardcore. Why?
Well, I think that Michael Reaves built it into the book that you're not supposed to root for him.
Yeah.
And Sidious calls it at the beginning, where he says that his hubris will be his downfall. And that is so true. Like, his overconfidence is a little bit unbearable throughout the whole book, where he's like, there's no possible way they can escape. And like talking about how he's going to toy with each of his enemies, and then he gets bested by them for most of the book. Like, even up until the very end, like, Pavan could have totally taken him out. And he didn't for like I don't know. He like barely escapes a bunch of times. So I don't know that.
He gets bested by a protocol droid.
Yeah.
A cool protocol droid with fingers with
very cool protocol
laser
droid.
beams.
But like he talks so highly of himself and his abilities. But like as a reader, he's incredibly flawed. His character is so one-sided. There's no way that he's going to be a major player. Like, he's not a leading role. He's a brute, like Freddie said. He is a tool that Sidious is using to control a galaxy and to do his bidding under, like, in the shadows. So that's his role, and he's filling that role very well. But that's not a character you could ever root for, truly, I don't think.
I would say you root for him more probably in Lockdown than you do anywhere else.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, can we not drop Lockdown already? We are talking about Shadow Hunter.
Another one here. We're going to drop another one over here.
What's that? The fact that I found this cover here.
Yeah, that's a great cover.
Just remember, there's another book with Maul's cover on the face that is that
should be
the Phantom Menace.
Do you want to read
Flip it around and you got
Maul's face?
That's
there
right.
you go.
That's right. Anyway, I just remembered, how many books have Maul's big old friggin' face on the cover?
Rick.
He's iconic. He's beautiful, but he would never work.
Rick, do you root for Darth Maul?
I root for the story and just tell the story. It was good. So
you're along for the ride,
Yeah.
kind of like me. You're just sitting there.
Yeah.
Can't really root for the Jedi because you can see their flaws. You can kind of see everybody's flaws here.
Right.
Lauren's flaws, right? We see him too.
Yep.
I think I root more.
That's got the shadow of everything.
I think I root more for the crew that's up against Maul in this, actively rooting for them, than I am rooting against Maul. When Maul shows up, and like over and over and over, they think they've escaped, and then he's just like, bow, bow, like double ignites that blade, and it's like, you're never gonna escape me. Every time he does, I go, like, it's so satisfying. You know that moment in The Phantom Menace where he shows up and throws his hood back and ignites his blade in the doorway?
So cool.
This book has that scene 10 times.
Many times. Yeah,
It
totally.
just
does
that scene over and over and over.
And over again. And my favorite is how Sam Witwer reads it with delight. Like, he is just giddy. Could not be happier to just be in combat. Like, he's literally giggling as he's like chopping people's heads off.
He nailed it. He nailed it so well.
Well, I think what we're going to have to do is come back to the rest of the characters future week. What do y'all think?
Yeah, there's still a lot more.
Yeah, we've got some good ones.
Probably.
Lauren. We've got the Jedi who died. And
Anun
that
Bandara.
Jedi-
He has a name.
Yeah, Anon. Almost like anonymous.
Yeah.
It's funny because I'm just gonna say it now. I was wondering how Anun. How do you say it? Anun
Bandara, yeah.
Bandara. I was like, that name seems so familiar, so I researched it, and of course I look in the the behind the scenes section in the book, and right there it says a lightsaber crystal bearing his name, Bandera's Folly, is available for players in Star Wars Galaxies.
Oh.
There it is.
man.
I wanted to just drop
Take
another
another
one
drink.
of those things in there for
Yeah.
another
Out of your toothpick holders. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so out of we'll say this for the last question for tonight. This isn't in the notes. Out of the original characters in the book, you've got Anun Bandara and Darsha and I5YQ, the sniveling Nemoidians. You've got all this whole crew. Who's the dealer that they work with? Tudin Sal, he's in here. So out of these original characters, do you have a favorite? One that you find yourself a little bit more compelled to root for, or somebody who's like more striking as a character in your mind?
I'm gonna save the mech. I'm not even say. I'll save the droid for you. How about that, Jared?
I5YQ, I do love I5.
Yeah. I think we have a picture of I5.
Oh yeah.
I want to say his attitude. It kind of reminded me of Alan Tudyk
Yeah.
in
Rogue One.
And this
kinda
predates
like
that by 15 years.
It totally does. It reminds me of like I guess a prototype of Alan Tudyk's character in Rogue One, right? K2. It's K2. Right?
K2SO. Yep.
It's K2. Yeah, K2SO.
But
He's
full of
blasters.
Yeah, finger lasers. He's full of tricks. He's got all the tricks, the internal tricks of R2D2 and HK-47 and the sass of K2SO and the body of C-3PO. The last question for tonight is simply this. Who is the most striking, most enduring original character in Darth Maul Shadowhunter? We have like a consensus across the board that it's I5YQ, best character in the book?
I think
What
so.
a surprise take. I thought I was going to pick that one because it's like, oh, that's something different. Like it's the only non-human, but oh my gosh, what a likable droid.
Yeah.
Why? Why? So, we talked about how he's got the body of C-3PO, the arsenal of HK-47, the sass of K2SO, and yet is still somehow more than the sum of his parts, more than all of that. And before all those, except for 3PO, this is 2001 that he wrote this character. And the fun thing is he runs all the way through the Reaves universe. So he's in all the rest of the Reaves books, except for maybe Death Star.
So where does this one fall chronologically then? Because like his fate of New Master being reprogrammed was like probably the biggest loss in the whole book for me.
Oh yeah, I would 100% agree with you on that, Rick. Just the fact that this amazing droid who is basically self-intelligent gets taken by who was it again?
He was
What was
Dindur. He ends up
Yeah.
He ends up in the MedStar books after this with the Celestin Dindur. And then he, what's fun, Rick, is he is the sidekick to Jax Pavan, Lauren's son, in the Coruscant Nights books.
Oh, got it.
So, yep, you can totally
You'll
see
get
him
there, Rick.
Cool.
laying the
Yeah,
foundation for that.
That's really cool. I have those books. I haven't read them yet.
They're universally not so beloved, but I liked them.
Yeah.
But I
I
liked
think
them.
I5 has like more depth as a character than Maul does in this.
Totally.
Like he's got
sure.
more variety of his background. We know more about his background than we know about Maul's. Where he was, he's abused as a droid, and then he was like freed by Lauren Pavan and reprogrammed, and his creativity damper was removed. Is that right?
Yeah, and
How you say that?
and the finger lasers inserted.
He's got
And
Yeah.
the finger lasers.
Yep.
I mean, he like turns into like Go-Go Gadget protocol droid and like saves him on multiple counts. He's sassy during hangovers, yet somehow has a way to cure hangovers. Like, I don't even know how.
He's a great
to do
sidekick.
that.
Great, but they're partners. And I like
Yes.
the fact that it's kind of this funny. Like it's stood the test of time better than you would think. It's aged really
Yes.
well. Where he's like, yeah, hey, in a cantina or something, somebody will say to Lauren, "Oh, what are you gonna do with your protocol droid to stop me?" And he says, "Oh no, actually we're equal partners, and he has an equal say in how this transaction is gonna go down." And so he like turns to him, he's like, "What do you think?" And everybody's like, "What the heck is up with this?" But like they're equal partners in their business. I think it's
Very
hilarious.
strong Han and Chewie vibes.
Yeah,
Very
for
strong.
sure. All right, so here we are. We've talked about a lot of great stuff tonight from Darth Maul, Shadowhunter. I've enjoyed it. We got a lot more to say in a future week. We're not 100% sure that we're going to have the live stream next week. We got to tool around with the schedule a little bit. Might bring you something else instead. But at the next roundtable, we will finish up Darth Maul, Shadowhunter. Also, tune into Living Forest on Monday night as they are doing their roundtable currently from The Princess and the Scoundrel. And also, a huge congratulations to our buddies over at the Star Wars Archives, Jose and Trevor, for their 50 episodes. The 50th episode, I'm telling y'all, is juicy. It is 2 hours long. It had me screaming and also jiving a little bit. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Awesome.
It's totally for
It's a
the
weird
Patreon
review.
the Patreon audience.
Got me jiving.
Screaming and jiving like it's $19.99. And anyway, you can be too for the low price of however much it costs to join our Patreon. I'm not sure, but it's worth it. And that is going to do it for this week. Thanks for joining us here for Legends Look Back. Thanks to our incredible patrons for your support. We love making this show, and we're glad you're along for the ride. Special thank you to our Jedi High Council, Brian Dooley, Earl Q, Patrick Ortiz, and Carl Sander, and to the Alliance High Command, Ashley Ingalls, Elizabeth Cloutier, Sally, and Chris Eilerson. Remember to sub to the channel, leave us a review in your podcast platform of choice. And remember, if you would like your thoughts read on the show, you can contact us through the contact info that is in the description below or on Twitter at Legends Look Back. If you're looking to buy some of these books, such as Darth Maul Shadowhunter in one of its 4 reprints, hey, you can go on over to youtini.com, click the Amazon link in the profile, and also remember, let's get that YOUTINI fan code and be a force for positivity in the fandom. May the force be with you, and rest in peace, Julio.
What the heck?
What was that?
This is a YOUTINI broadcast.